Hi everyone, so I am working on the Paint the Roses Red today, and I do want to build a little paint pot, so I thought I'll film that first and then I can upload that as a separate tutorial for you. So I've cut myself a strip of white cardstock. This is 3 centimetres in height. I'm just going to roll this up into a tube. So keep the length on it because that way you can adjust it by opening and closing it, as you're going to see in a second. So I want this on this glass. Obviously you might want to do them smaller, bigger, whatever, it's completely up to you. So I do want it a little bit wider than what it is. So what I'm going to do is just open my fingers slightly, just so the circle gets a little bit bigger. And that's about the size that I want. So keep it sort of like pinched between your fingers as you're rolling out the excess bit of paper. Leave yourself a flap, and then what you need to do now is just cut this off and either use your tacky glue or your glue gun just to stick that edge down. Next we need a bottom. So the easiest way to do this is to, again, just get your cardstock, run your glue gun along the bottom, stick that onto your paper and then cut that out. So you should now have a bottom and a tube. So now what we need to do is just sort of like strengthen the tube. So to do that, you're just going to need to get yourself a strip of cardboard. And then when you cut your cardboard, just make sure, because obviously this is just, it's not going to be glued all the way around the edge, so you don't have to be precise with this. Just make sure you've got a little gap just at the top. So when we sort of like slide this rough piece in here, the cardboard is going to sit a little bit more further down than the top. So this is a rough bit of cardboard. I'm just going to push this into a sort of like tube. So there might be too much on here, I am not quite sure, but if there is, we can just trim that down. So just roll it up into a tight tube like this, and then just make sure that that does pop inside your paint pot. And then once you're happy, obviously if it's gone a little bit too high, you can pop this out and then trim it again, and then you know, just repeat this process. You do not have to glue on the inside of this. Once you're happy with it, just pop it out, pop some glue at the bottom, a glue gun preferably, and then pop that back in. So I did sort of like pop it out, trimmed it down just a little bit. I just wanted my paint further down. You might want a half paint, you might want full right to the brim. It's completely up to you. So that is now glued in. So next we need to get some red cardboard, felt. This is foam board. Just going to flip this upside down. We're not gluing this on here because obviously it's going to sit underneath. I'm just going to cut sort of like a rough circle, just to give us an idea. You can obviously draw around with a pencil if you want to as well. I just find it quicker just to do it this way. And then the aim is to get this circle sitting inside here. So don't worry so much about the rough edges. That will all get covered very soon, so it doesn't have to be the most perfect of circles, but as long as it fits inside. So just keep taking your time, just sort of trimming it down. Jim's crowing. Just so it sits on the inside like this. So before we glue this on, we're going to make 2 holes either side. So I've kept my joint at the back. Obviously you can drip paint on that as, later on, so you won't see that, but I'm just going to keep that to the back for now. And then you'll just need to get yourself a little pointy tool, cocktail stick, and then we're just going to poke a hole either side of this pot. So don't worry if your hole is slightly split, it does not make any difference at all. That one went through all right, that one sort of like split a little bit, because obviously we're only working on cardstock. So next what you'll need to do is get yourself some craft wire, or you can open up a paper clip. And we're going to thread this, like I say, it doesn't matter, it probably makes it easier actually with the lip on the top. Thread that through both ends, like this. Then want my handle coming down at the front. You might want your handle upright. If you do, then obviously you will adjust your wire on the opposite, sort of like go in the opposite way. So that's going to sit on the inside like this. Then what I'm going to do is just keep that together a second. Is just twist this bit of wire together. I'm going to have to do it off camera. Twist this bit of wire together, and then what I'm going to do is then slide that all between the rim, so the knot ends up in the middle. So I've had to do that off camera because I couldn't get it close enough to the camera. So I've just done the knot, threaded it through, and then just pop that in there. Obviously you can sort of like adjust it slightly if you want your handle a lot shorter, longer, or obviously like say at the top. So once you're happy with it, like I say, don't worry if you've split the side. It does happen sometimes, especially on cardstock. So I'm now going to put some tacky glue on there, and then I'm going to pop in the felt that we cut earlier. That way it just covers the wire and it makes everything secure and stick together. So now we're going to add our paint. So for the paint drips, you can use a red glue gun stick. You can also use your clear glue gun stick. Drizzle this over and then paint it just with some acrylic paint. That way it'll just make your paint sort of like 3D. You can also use the Mod Podge, the builder's cork with red paint, put it in a squirty bottle and do that. You can also use puffy paint, so there's quite a lot of different variations for the paint, but because obviously I am filming this and I don't want to wait for all the paint to dry, I'm just going to use a red glue stick. You can find loads of coloured glue sticks on Amazon, eBay, anywhere do them. So I've just loaded up this. I do have a separate glue gun just for coloured glue. What I'm going to do now is sort of like squirt it just on the rim. Just sort of like start building up that colour inside. And then just letting it drip. Squeezing it, running all the way along. And then you can just carry on dripping your paint right the way. It's a bit difficult for me to show you because I've had to bring you a bit more forward because my lead's really short. So I'm just working up and down. Working all the way around. And then if you've only got one sort of like coloured glue stick, I'm just going to stop that a second. If you've only got one coloured glue stick, just pop in a clear, that way you can push all this colour. I do have another one, but I don't think I'm going to need it. So just to push that colour out of your stick, just put a clear one in. So I'm just going to carry on going all the way around my little paint pot, just with this glue gun. So whilst that's sort of like still drying, it doesn't take long. I've just got an old paintbrush. I'm just going to show you quickly. Drizzle some paint over. When it starts getting a little bit tacky, just use your fingers and squeeze it and then pull it and then leave it. That way it creates sort of like a drip. I couldn't do it on camera because it was a bit too close for me to show you with the lead being so short. So all I did with this, it's still a little bit tacky. Pop some glue on there, let it drip, let it go a little bit tacky, squeeze it with your fingers and then pull it. That way it will create sort of like a 3D drip. Like I say, this is just a hard brush. That was no good anymore. So this is going to sort of like sit on the top of my paint. Obviously this stick is far too long, so I'm just going to just trim my stick there. So I did trim my little paintbrush down with some wire cutters. You can obviously use a little craft knife as well. Just put a blob of the red glue stick underneath. Kept it at an angle and then just added a little red love heart that obviously comes in the kit. And this is the finished paint result. It is so cute. You are going to see it featured on my shake, which I'm going to start next. So hopefully I will see you on the next bake. Goodbye everybody.